We probably all know someone who has been in a toxic relationship, or maybe we've been in one before. It happens. There are just some people who are great as individuals, but when you bring them together, they are toxic for one another. Today on Beyond the Screen, we are talking about the top 10 most toxic celebrity couples. I'm your host for this one. I am Joss Bedard. Thanks for checking out Top 10 Beyond the Screen. If this is your first time here, subscribe to keep hanging out with us and stick around to the end because we do some comment shoutouts and it's a lot of fun. But for now, let's get to this top 10 list. Kicking off our countdown list, number 10 is Britney Spears and Kevin Federline. He was a backup dancer and a rapper when he first met Britney, and after only 3 months of dating, the two of them went and got married, which seemed to do more damage than good to their relationship. Their marriage was not long, it only lasted 2 years, but it was a difficult 2 years for them. Kevin was accused of abandoning his pregnant ex-girlfriend, Shar Jackson, to date the famous and wealthy Britney Spears, who he also had 2 children with during their very short marriage. Their marital problems got so bad that Britney filed for divorce in 2006, citing irreconcilable differences. From there, the two of them had a very vicious battle for custody of their 2 children. Initially, they both filed to have sole legal and physical custody of the kids, but the courts ruled that Kevin should have full custody. On the night of January 3rd in 2008, police were called to her residence as she was refusing to give up her children, who she locked in a room with her. Britney went through a very personal, rough patch in her career, which we all saw, but she did manage to get her life back on track and is able to co-parent in the end. Rolling into number 9 is Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom. Their love story moved very fast, which many people were concerned about when it first happened. Back in 2009, they shocked everyone when they announced that they got hitched after just 3 weeks of dating. You literally don't even know someone after 3 weeks. How are you possibly getting married? They were married for 4 years before the divorce papers were submitted and things got really hectic. The world soon learned that Lamar was struggling with substance abuse and had been unfaithful to Khloe on more than one occasion. Despite being on her family reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, somehow they were able to hide the fact that he had been going in and out of rehab centers. Things took a really bad turn when Lamar had a near-death experience and was found unconscious inside of a brothel. It is then that we learned he had been cheating on Khloe more than we realized, and that his addiction was a lot more serious than anyone knew. Khloe officially filed for divorce on December 13th, 2013, and the two of them have since moved on with other people. Swiping the number 8 spot is Eminem and Kim Mathers. Reports say that Eminem and his ex-wife Kim were actually married twice. The first time being from 1999 to 2001, and then briefly down the road in 2006. They seemed like a match made in heaven at first, dating for over a decade and having a beautiful daughter together. The two of them actually met at a house party when they were just kids. She was only 13 and he was 15, so they were together before Eminem made a huge name for himself. They actually dated all throughout high school, so when they got married it was really cute because they had the whole high school sweetheart story. But after he became famous, their relationship only ever made press for very negative reasons. It became publicly known that both of them had been disloyal to one another throughout the relationship and that they both were dealing with substance problems. After they split, sources said that the two of them would fight often and that their fights would get pretty nasty. Eminem also wrote his epic rap called Kim, where he describes what he wishes he could do to her now, and it's very disturbing. You should go listen. Up next, number 7 is Chris Brown and Rihanna. They seem like the music industry's perfect power couple, and from the outside looking in, everything seemed like it was a perfect love story. That was until one fateful night in 2009 when the horrific news broke that he had left her bruised and bleeding after an argument. Rihanna even testified against him in court, which is why fans were so surprised when they tried to give their relationship another shot a few years down the road. After the altercation, Chris was arrested and sentenced to community service and domestic violence counseling. He openly talked about his low point in the relationship and called himself a monster for what he did. But he also admitted that she got physical with him too, and that oftentimes all their arguments turned to violence, whether it was scratching, slapping, pushing, basically everything. So obviously the relationship was extremely toxic, and it was probably for the best that they went their separate ways. Coming in at number 6 is Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. Their relationship wasn't long, but it was probably longer than it should have been. They dated from 2016 to 2017 and even got engaged and had a baby girl together during this time. We got to know them as a couple through their own reality TV series called Rob & China, and anyone who watched it could tell that it was a very toxic relationship. The two of them fought all the time and also had a lot of trust issues with each other. The show only lasted one season, because their relationship only lasted one season. Their breakup was a really nasty one as well. She moved out of their home and Rob went online and started attacking her, even posting some of her nude photos for the world to see. After that, they got into a very nasty custody battle, but they did go their separate ways for good, still co-parenting their daughter Dream. I love to see the co-parenting at least. At least. Freaking least you can do if you bring the child in this world. Halfway through at number 5 is Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Their relationship is famous for being on and off again, and we all know that any relationship that is known for that is probably a toxic one. Their relationship was a fairy tale love story at first, and many fans thought they were gonna be together forever. I legit thought they were gonna get married. But they were on and off for a total of 6 years, which is a long time for two people to try and figure out if they're gonna work or not. People were surprised to see them spending time together in paparazzi photos, and the two of them were apparently trying to make things work. But then, just a few months later, bam, Justin Bieber is married to Hailey Baldwin. That is when Selena Gomez released a single called Lose You to Love Me, where her lyrics talk about their past relationship, where she said he moved on and replaced her in 2 months. So people are pretty positive that she was referring to his marriage with Hailey. Justin seems really happy and in love with his new wife, and Selena is healthy and happy living on her own, as far as we know. At number 4 is Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. I have 3 Kardashians on this list, and I don't know if that is a good thing or not. Anyone who followed the series Keeping Up with the Kardashians would have seen the ins and outs of their relationship, which was filled with a lot of highs, but also a lot of lows. They started dating back in 2006 after they met at a house party. They dated for almost 10 years, and during that time they welcomed 3 children into their life. But throughout these years, Scott was struggling with an alcohol addiction and was often accused of being unfaithful. It wasn't until 2015, when he was caught in a cheating scandal, that Kourtney finally called it quits and they went their separate ways. They both went on to date other people, but there were times when they were trying to see if they could make it work, but it just wasn't. In recent times, rumors are saying they might be back together right now, or they're at least trying to be, but nothing has been confirmed. It is a lot of on and off, and we can only imagine how hard that is for the kids, especially because they've dated other people, so they're just bringing other people into the kids' lives, you know? Could be a very messy situation. In the 3rd spot is Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I think their $100 million lawsuit is enough proof that their relationship is a toxic one. We have learned a lot about the relationship because of it, with each of them bringing forth different evidence against the other, most of their claims being pretty disturbing. Some of their claims have involved domestic violence, alcohol addiction, substance abuse, and apparently Amber pooping on their bed as a funny prank. The lawsuit has been going on for years, and it keeps getting more toxic as time goes on. Amber's reputation has been completely destroyed online, and now she is wanting to sue Johnny and his legal team, claiming that they hired bot accounts to attack her social media pages. The court dates are also now affecting Johnny's film schedule, which he signed a legal contract for, so he might end up in a Warner Brothers lawsuit by the end of all of this. Taking over the 2nd place spot is Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. The Baywatch star was only married to him from 1995 to 1998, but during their brief relationship, things were less than ideal for them. At the time, they were a rock and roll love story for all ages. They both admit that it was love at first sight for them, but their relationship was a dramatic roller coaster that came crashing down. Despite the issues, they had 2 kids together, which Pamela said was a decision that they made out of true love at that time. But she also admitted that Tommy had often mistreated her and that their relationship was very dark, so they decided to split after just a couple years. Their split caused issues down the road, with their sons feeling torn between them. In March 2018, one of their sons, Brandon, allegedly punched Tommy in the face and knocked him unconscious after he posted a derogatory tweet about his mom. So the family dynamic was very toxic even after after the relationship came to an end. Brandon was in the recent The Hills reboot reality series, and he talked about his parents, and he also revealed that he and his dad have been working on their relationship. We've made it to number 1, and we have Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love. One of the biggest love stories of all time, but mainly because there's always been a lot of controversy surrounding their relationship. They got married on February 24th, 1992, just 2 years prior to Kurt's tragic death. They were only dating for months before they decided to tie the knot. But then the tragic news broke that Kurt was found dead in his Seattle home with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Reports say that the relationship was a lot more toxic than anyone knew, and that Courtney was the one who introduced heroin to him, which was the start of a very self-destructive lifestyle and relationship. Many people have come up with the theory that she actually had something to do with his death. She claims that all he wanted to do was play his guitar at home and do heroin, and that he had attempted suicide on more than one occasion. But others think that it was part of her plan because she was given more than $50 million after getting a stake in the publishing rights of Nirvana's music. Alright guys, that is our top 10 list. I'm gonna end this video with some comments from Billie Eilish is being body shamed because of this. Whitney S says, people are so pathetic. Body shaming is the lowest of lows. You don't know what they are going through. Facts. Honestly, be kind, because you truly never know. Poor Billie, she's 18 years old. Leave her alone. Kelly C says, but she's obviously not comfortable with her body if she's always wearing baggy clothes. I don't think that's true. I wear baggy clothes all the time, but I will also strut my stuff when I want to. Anna Buisen says, why do you not do the intro song and video anymore? I'm surprised you guys noticed because it's been gone for months and I didn't even notice. I'm not sure why. We just kind of wanted to change things up, so we took it out. Zaim Nasrallah says, what's a normal body? Honestly, I don't know. I think when people say that, they mean like natural, like not the plastic surgery and what, like the Photoshop. I think they just mean like your natural body. Alright guys, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to keep hanging out with us every day. I was your host Joss. I will see you in the next one.